While most travelers turn their gaze toward the horizon of the Atlantic Ocean, the true soul of Portugal lies hidden deep inland. Here, in the vast emptiness of the Alentejo, a city rises that has withstood the blazing sun for 2,000 years. It is a place where Roman temples and medieval walls merge into one vast open-air museum. But behind the whitewashed facades and the serene silence of the cathedral, a dark history lurks that is quite literally built from bones. I take you on a journey through the contrasts of this city. From the bright white of the midday sun to the golden glow of the night. Welcome to the hidden gem of the interior, Évora. My journey through Portugal began in the beautiful Lisbon, after which I visited the fairy tale-like Sintra. In the previous two videos, I already took you along to these two remarkable places. From the coastline, I have now moved into the interior to visit this unique UNESCO city. I start this day trip at the Igreja de São Francisco, a church that was built around the year 1500 on the foundations of an older monastery. It was constructed in the Manueline style and was closely connected to the Portuguese kings, which explains the richness of its interior. It once served as the royal church whenever the royal family stayed in this city at the adjacent palace. Through a small courtyard, I walked to a remarkable adjoining chapel, the Capela dos Ossos. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the city faced a major problem. It was growing rapidly, and the cemeteries were taking up too much valuable land. The monks exhumed the bones and used these human remains as building material. It was believed that this brought the bones closer to God within the consecrated ground of the church. From the remains of nearly 5,000 people, a chapel measuring approximately 19 by 11 meters was constructed. Although it originated out of necessity for the expansion of the city, it has become a rather macabre place, especially when you read the text above the entrance. "We bones that lie here await yours." Among all these anonymous bones, there are also the bodies of an adult and a child that are fully mummified. For years, they hung on chains along the wall, surrounded by legends of curses, and now they mainly serve as a reminder of how fragile we truly are. It remains remarkable to stand in such spaces and realize that all these skulls looking back at you were once people who helped build this city hundreds of years ago. From this remarkable chapel, I walked to the city park, which was once part of the royal complex. It is a true green oasis on the edge of the old city center, where a small part of what was once a massive royal palace still remains. Although the structure we see today mainly dates from the 16th century, this palace had already been the center of power much earlier. As early as the 15th century, Évora was the unofficial capital of the country, and it was here in 1497 that the king gave the order to discover the sea route to India. Today, a small free museum is located inside, where a detailed exhibition tells the history of the city. The balcony is also open to visitors and offers a beautiful view over the park and the church I visited earlier. Next to the palace, you will find another unusual structure. In the 19th century, it became fashionable to build romantic ruins, and this one was constructed using remains from demolished palaces and monasteries in the city. So it is not an ancient structure, but one that was built to make the park more visually appealing. Today, it is no longer court ladies who walk through the park, but peacocks that rule the area. With their proud posture and deep colors, they look almost royal, as if they are keeping the memory of the old court alive. From the park, you can also see parts of the old city walls, which protected the city from invaders for centuries. In total, these city walls have a length of approximately 6 kilometers and enclose the entire historic center. This makes them one of the best preserved city walls in Portugal. You can clearly see the history of the city here, as the outer ring of the walls mainly dates back to the 14th century and features different architectural styles, ranging from medieval towers to the Vauban style of the 17th century. Although these 14th century walls are impressive, the history of Évora goes much deeper. It all began as a Celtic settlement, but it was the Romans who transformed the city over 2,000 years ago into Liberalitas Julia. As the city expanded rapidly during the Middle Ages, this ring of walls was built, with a height of around 6 meters and 40 towers. Along the way, I passed several of the 7 remaining city gates, including the Nova Porta de Avis on the northern side and the Porta de Mura on the eastern side. Through the latter gate, you enter the Old City, which leads you to the cathedral that towers high above it. This cathedral is located at the highest point of the city, and upon entering, you are welcomed by the 12 apostles. For a small fee, you can enter the cathedral, after which your visit begins on the roof. This is not just any church, it is the largest medieval sanctuary in Portugal. From the roof, you can clearly see that this is a massive granite structure built between 1186 and 1250, shortly after the city was reconquered from the Moors. From here, you can also get a good view of the lantern tower and the 2 asymmetrical towers at the front of the church, one of which serves as a bell tower. Because this is the highest point, you also have a stunning panoramic view over the entire city. The cloister is equally impressive when seen from above, with its inner garden surrounded by heavy granite arches that stand out beautifully against the greenery. The cloister was commissioned by the bishop in the early 14th century and remains an oasis of peace to this day. It is wonderful to walk through these centuries-old corridors, where every angle offers a different view of the cathedral. You can also walk on the roof of the cloisters, which gives you yet another perspective of the church and the courtyard. Within the cloister, you will also find the beautiful Gothic tombs of the bishops, including Dom Pedro, who was the main founder of this part of the complex. In the museum, many relics can be found, along with objects related to the diocese. The tour ends inside the church itself. As soon as you step inside, you feel its immense scale, with a nave of around 70 meters. The interior is fairly sober, with gray granite walls, small windows, and towering structures, giving it a unique atmosphere. The Baroque main altar stands out as an explosion of light and color within the space. It was built in the 18th century using marble from nearby quarries. Inside the church, you will also find a remarkable artwork, a 15th century painting of the pregnant Virgin Mary. Above the entrance at the back of the church is the choir loft, fitted with beautiful 16th century oak choir stalls and a famous Renaissance organ, one of the oldest still functioning organs in Europe. From here, the monks once sang their prayers from the balcony, across the vast granite nave toward the magnificent altar. As I mentioned earlier, Évora dates back to long before Roman times. Although no remains from that period have been found, it was the Romans who built a major city here. In the heart of the city, you can still find traces of this past, with the Roman temple being the best preserved structure. But how is it possible that it is still standing after 2,000 years? During the Middle Ages, the spaces between the columns were filled in with walls, and the structure was used as a slaughterhouse and later as a munitions storage. These added walls protected the columns, which meant that by the 19th century, it was still in good condition and could be restored. Next to the temple, you can also find a Roman gate that was once part of the city walls. The Roman walls themselves were largely incorporated into medieval houses, making them almost invisible today, but this gate remains clear evidence of the ancient fortifications in the heart of the city. I walk through the city center, a wonderful maze where time seems to stand still. Because the city could barely expand within the medieval walls, its structure from that time has been perfectly preserved. Through the narrow streets, I pass whitewashed houses, painted this way to keep out the heat. According to tradition, the homes were outlined with yellow colors to keep away evil spirits and insects. You can see this throughout the streetscape. In the old center, you will also find a large square named after Giraldo sem Pavor, the knight who reconquered the city from the Moors in 1165. The square features a Baroque fountain made of white marble from 1571, which once served as the main water supply for the city. A little further north, you will find the City Hall, which hides a remarkable secret. Inside, you can discover the remains of an ancient Roman bathhouse. The ruins are fully enclosed within the building, but were only uncovered during renovations in 1987. These baths once covered more than 300 square meters, and today a small section is visible to visitors. Not far from the City Hall, you will see the first visible sections of the enormous aqueduct that supplied the city with water for centuries. It was also known as the Aqueduct of Silver Water, a name referring to the extremely high costs of its construction. Commissioned by the king in the 16th century, the same architect who designed the Tower of Belém in Lisbon was hired to create a system that would provide the city with a constant supply of fresh drinking water. Due to a lack of space, in the 17th and 18th centuries, residents began building houses between the arches, blending the structure into the city itself. Along its entire length, the aqueduct appears integrated into homes, sometimes completely enclosed within them, and sometimes partially visible above the rooftops. Near the city walls, the arches become taller to compensate for the difference in elevation, and outside the city, they rise as massive pillars from the ground. In total, the aqueduct stretches for about 18 kilometers, running through the city toward the water sources in Praça do Évora. Remarkably, it took only 6 years to complete, an incredible achievement for that time. It is truly an architectural masterpiece that served as the lifeline of the city for centuries. What makes it especially unique are the small tower-like structures, which were used for inspection and ventilation of the water system. Outside the city, the aqueduct passes through the grounds of the Cartuxa monastery, where monks lived in complete silence and isolation until 2019. As the last rays of sunlight disappear beyond the horizon, the city undergoes a beautiful transformation. In the darkness, the narrow streets are softly lit, and the ancient monuments become even more impressive. Évora is not a city you simply visit, but one you slowly unravel. Here, you see a rare fusion of worlds, from the raw power of the Romans and the defensive lines of the Middle Ages to the vast aqueduct running through the city. History here is not found in books, but carved into the granite and marble of the streets. For over 2,000 years, Évora has endured by adapting to the times without ever losing its soul. It is a magical place, and not without reason a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and in my opinion, absolutely worth a visit. In the next video, I will take you to the southernmost region of Portugal, the beautiful Algarve, a region known for its stunning beaches, but we will also explore its remarkable interior. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like and subscribe so you do not miss the rest of my journey. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.